This example is called the bishop sleeve. So what we want to do first is make a straight sleeve pattern piece. So I'm going to go ahead, trace just a little bit down at the side seam, across my sleeve cap, and a little bit down the other side seam. Go ahead, add my notches in, remove my pattern piece, and extend both of these side seams down straight. One side and the other side. Next, from the bottom up, we are going to measure 1/2 inch up. I'm going to call this point over here A, over here will be C. Now, go in, add my green line in the center, just as a reference point. And then next, what we will have to do is draw vertical slash lines so that we can cut and spread this open. Before we do that, we want to extend this line downward, just as if we were doing that basic shirt sleeve or the shirt waist. So I am going to measure out, let's do 1.5 inches to the left of my center line, or again, the grade line. So 1.5 inches over, and then measure 3/8 of an inch down. From there. And then again, I want to make this, oops, let me extend that. I want it to go like that. And then from that point all the way back up to C. So I'm going to go ahead, take my French curve, line this up, so I have that soft curve from A, we'll call this B again, A to B, and then all the way up to C. Next will be the vertical slash lines that I mentioned. So we want to start at the very least in, let's see, 1.5 inches away from our center guideline. So 1.5 inches outward in both directions. Let's line this up on our center guideline. 1.5 inches. Oops, I could have left that there because my ruler is 3 inches. 1.5 inches. So these 3 vertical lines, I am going to label them 1, 2, and 3, just so it's easier for you guys to follow along. These we're going to cut to, not through, our cap line. Before we do any cutting though, we are going to have to make a little overlap line, so a little overlap notch from the top of our grain line to the left, measure over 1/4 inch. Just going to write here too so you guys know, and over 0.25. All right, from here we are good. Actually, let's translate these inward a little better. I'm going to cut this out as is, and then we are going to cut and spread on an additional sheet of paper. So again, we are cutting these 3 vertical lines. Line 1, line 2, and line 3. All the way to, not through, our cap of the sleeve. So then, let's finish cutting these. So we want to spread these 3/4 of an inch apart from, so each of these openings 3/4 of an inch apart. What we need to do too is make this overlap as well. So before I do any taping, I'm going to draw my cap line back in, because this is going to help us get that overlap piece. So I'm actually going to just cut through, so I have 2 pieces now, and I'm going to start from the middle so I can get this overlap. So now what I mean by the overlap, that 1/4 of an inch notch that we made to the left of the center guideline or the grain line, I'm going to take my opposite side and just pinch that in. So I'm going to hold it there, and then I'm going to take my ruler and make sure that I am opening the bottom before I tape the top down. And make sure I'm doing this at 3/4 of an inch. So right now I have an inch. I'm going to bring it in, make sure it's still lined up at the top, and that this curve up here, oops, is still smooth. Once I have that down, we're going to go ahead, tape the top, tape the bottom. I'm going to finish the next 2. Let's tape this guy up so it doesn't look like it's about to fly away. From here, we're going to take our French curve, I'm going to draw our bottom back in, and then along the bottom we are going to gather this. And we kind of lost our grain line, so I'm going to draw that back in. Again, it should be down the center of our sleeve. Just write cap line. And this is called a bishop sleeve. So I'm going to write sleeve, chapter 10, example 9, cut 2. And for this one, you don't have to tape on another sheet of paper because we already did that when we were spreading this. So again, chapter 9, oops, chapter 10, example 9. This is a bishop sleeve. And that is it.